It's different. It's nice doing that, having a little look at what you've done and what you haven't done, and having a play around with colours. And yeah, I like that page as well. It's a really nice page. Sort of offset some of these, and don't like that one at all. That one needs to, yeah, that would look pretty nice. That doesn't work. You could even split that into two, couldn't you? Because it's like a picture of two halves, I think. Get it? Picture of two halves. No, you get it. It's just, you see what I mean? Liking that. Anyway, good afternoon, buddies. How's everyone doodling? We all okay? Yeah, back from a stint. I did say Thursday. Yeah, I did say Thursday. So, so anyway, good afternoon. Right. Now, just like I say, I got home yesterday. 5 hours travelling. Well, no, was it more? 8, 9, 10, 12. Yeah, 5 hours. Stuck in traffic and all sorts. So, and then it was 4 hours the day before. So that's like nearly a 10-hour driving day in 2 days. It's a lot. And I sort of went to bed last night. Really early. Couldn't sleep, my head banging. And I'm like, oh, something's going on here. I'm even getting headaches. I think that's all part of the fibro and some other stuff. But then it woke me up this morning about 2 o'clock. I've never felt that pain in my head like that. So I ended up, I never stay in bed in the morning, never ever lying, because I just don't feel right. It's just what I don't do. And then, not that it's wrong for anybody, I don't mean that, but oh my god, I couldn't even look at the light. So I'm for a bit ropey. It's because of that. It's sort of wearing off now. And I think I always get headaches now because of driving, but I really brought it up home when I realised that it was that long haul driving that's really created a lot of aggro. So I think that's good, isn't it, when you find out there's reasons for certain, say you feel a certain way, and you know why now because you can relate certain things to it. That's how it is. So I've been relating the part that all that. Oh, why do I feel like that? So anyway, dooby doo. Let's see what's going on and who's going on, and let's see who's here. Let's have a look. Hello, Emma. Hi. Hi, Marlene. Hi, Sue. Hi, Alyssa. Hi, Tamara. Hi, Marjorie. Hi, Liz. Hi, Kim. Hi, Linda. Hi, Emma. Hi, Karen. Yeah, headlights are terrible. Hi, Glynis. Yeah, so, I've been live all the time apart from when I'm working. I've not really missed out. That's the thing. It's pretty live most days. Apart from a Sunday week, but that's because Mark needs his time as well. It's not fair on him. So anyway, I thought, let's go back to basics, what we're doing with the moodling. Excuse my hand, it's ink, I can't get it off. Plus I've got all sorts of cuts, but I'm using an automatic pencil, I'm using an A5 sheet of paper. I'm just going to go back to basics. So I thought we'd do like some of the flowers that we've been looking at, but maybe take them a step further. So as we go, let's start with a flower, but we're going to take it further. So as we say, you draw your first circle, remember. So we're going to do like a, how can I put it, stylized flowers, shall we say. Okay, so let's go for that sort of shape. You got it? So we've got one of this. Hopefully you remember. it's an ellipse. Then we've got a full at the front one, and then we've got one. Now if you're unsure about how to sort of gauge your flowers, don't worry, just draw over it and treat each flower as a separate entity, and then you can choose what goes in front. Okay, if we want to, we can put a little frame right round like this, like we did with the others. If not, we can do, so we could put, I'm only doing this to show you, I might not do it. So for our moodle, we might want to do that and create like a, I quite like that, it looks more like a forest, so you can convert this into trees and everything you wanted. If you wanted to do that, you could just fill in the gaps like that, so you've got that aperture around your stuff like that, or just take that bit off there and then you'll end up with, you know, just this at the bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to meld or mold the two together. So we're going to look at all the flowers we've done. There's loads of them that we've done in past, so let's just do a really simple one for the full front one. So we're going to do a middle circle, which is stays like that, and then an outer circle. Okay, so we've got two identity, you can have one if you want, whatever. Let's go for our 12, 3, 6. So we've got quite a bit of space. Now what we want some space in these petals because we're going to work in the petals. So again, we can work in between, we can work in the spaces, or we can work using the centre post as the middle of your petal. So here, let's go for move over our circle to there. Okay, so it's pointing that way again. 3, 6, 9, 12. Put your petals in, and again we're going to do an ellipse one here. So everything we've learned about spatial awareness with flowers can be adapted into this. Now if I wanted to, I can put extra petals in just by adding another line. Now the lines don't stay there, as you know, the lines are rubbed away, but this allows you to sort of say, right, what petals do you want? So you ask yourself, do you want this in front or that in front? Either way it'd work, I think, either way. Do you want that in front of that or that in front of that? Well, I think if that's under that, then if we allow that on top of that, then everyone's happy. So don't rub the lines out too quick. So remember that we can work, the lines that we've done in the past can be either within that space, or they can be half the petal each side, like that. So I'm going to work on this one, I'm going to work in the space. So I'm just going to go up and I'm going to give a wiggle. Okay, each petal is separate. I am not treating it like a oh and then join there. I'm treating each petal as, and if it's coming and it's got a bit more gap, it doesn't matter. This is how we are building up our flower. There we go. So we've got it's quite a nice, the way we've drawn that, it's quite loose. It's got quite a nice little petal sort of formation. Some might need to be a bit more wiggly than others. This one, I'm going to go up, round, and just halfway. So if you're a bit unsure about where that is, just put a little mark where you think it would sort of overlap or meet. Again, touching the bottom, coming halfway, well halfway, that's a third, then coming there and bringing down that way, and if you treat each petal as its own petal, it won't lose its shape or identity. Now we've got a bit of scope here, we can make this petal a little bit bigger. I don't think that needs to be, so what I'm going to do is just take this petal a little bit bigger. Do you get me? So the only one that's hidden is that one. So the next one I'm going to do, as soon as I've put the extra lines in, I'm going to do the extra lines. So what I'm going to do is just a in between, again, a daisy style. So this is up, round to a narrow point, up and round to a narrow point. Each one separate, even if it goes over, don't care. And as you come into the front, they will get shorter and shorter and shorter. And if this part here is getting thinner, don't worry. When we use our pen work, it all comes into play. So we've got 3 separate flowers, really simple. We're going to do some nice work in these now. We've got a frame if we need it. We don't have to have the frame if we don't want it. It could be parcel of it. So when we're going to get a pen, it's going to be so simple to do. Hopefully add a bit of colour as well. So I'm going to use a 7, a 5, a 1. Let's see which is the best. Now always test your pens, because is that one? Oh, it's an 8. This might be a little bit too big to start with. So let's try the 1. Yeah, the 1 will do. So I'm going to just put the first outline in, and I'm just going to go straight in with the circle in the middle there. It doesn't have to be perfect. I am going to put the other bit in there because I want to make it sort of stylized. And then we're going to go up. Now this is where you can change the petals that you've already got and the shapes, or use the pencil lines that you've already got. So this is where you can make your choices. But this is where, just when I'm drawing, each petal has to have its own shape. Otherwise, it's too cartoony. See this sticking out a bit here, but I don't mind that because petals do, don't they? So this one is more of a button shape. So I am just going to go, not worrying too much. And they will get bigger as they come forward because they're actually, you're foreshortening them. And by that I mean you're making them smaller when they're in front. And then the top one is a squash circle, which is an ellipse. And I'm just going to go, take my time with this one because I get a little bit rushed. And I don't want to be rushed, I want to enjoy it. So some of the leaves, some of the petals won't fit in this space, but that's what it's like when you look at a proper flower. I'm hoping later on, oh I can't today, but I'm hoping to just go out and do some drawing because I've really missed it. And when I was walking around Burley House the other day, it really brought it home to me. And I thought, why don't I, there's nothing stopping me now. Exercise, sunshine, clean air, jobs are good. So I'm happy with that. I'm really happy with that. I'm going to rub out the lines that I don't want and then check out to see if there's anything else I need in it. Because once I've rubbed out the lines that were temporary and put the lines now that are sort of permanent now with the pen, so I can do that. It's clearer now what I need to do with the rest of it. So yeah, I'm just sorry I can't see comments, and they're a bit down here. Oh Trina, thank you Trina. Look, we're all there, we've all been there my love, don't worry, you're not on your own. Linda, can I recommend this to you? This is brilliant. This is a wireless mouse, the Microsoft one, right? Batteries in there, turns on and off there. I love it. It's so worth it. So worth it. It operates all my stuff. So I'm just reading some comments while people catch up drawing. Oh, it's great to see everybody. Great to see everybody, you know, here, loving it. So okay, we've got our basics. Now this is where I'm going to go in with a pencil again, and just to say, do I want to capture it as a... No, I'm sort of going to stay equidistant, so 4.5. No, it's 4.5 and a bit. Um, I have invested in some proper rulers. They weren't there, but the bookbinding rulers, and what that means is they don't start on naught. That is naught, that there is naught, and that makes so much easier when you're actually trying to measure. Because if it starts with the space naught, then you're never going to, if you book that up to whatever you want, you know that starts naught. Whereas if you're faffing like this, it's easy to misjudge it. So I bought a set of these, and I really do like them. I've got the full set. I think I got 5 in a set, and they're all different. And then there's this one, and it's got cork on the back to stop it, and it's a bit flexible. So the whole range of them, and they're really good. I really do like them. This stops it sort of moving on your page as much, or you can do it with a little bit of magnetic tape or a little bit of cork, anything you've got. Just put a little bit on the back, and it stops it from doing that. So I'm just looking at this, and I quite like the idea of having it there. So I'm going to look at that. I think, yeah, I quite like that. You know, I've got lots of room here for one, or I can bring it down, but that's not going to matter at the moment. We're going to look at dealing with these flowers. So I've got a 1, and a 1 is very simple to use and very easy to use because I can do fine lines. So the first thing I'm going to do is I've got a wobbly line here, so I'm going to do another wobbly line just to counteract it there. Okay, and I'm just going to put in... So this is a moodle and a doodle. Going back to what we do with our stamps and our original stuff, our moodling, but bringing the flowers in. So I've got that there, which is that wobbly light. I've got another one here, which is a bit dodgy. Can you see it? There's all bits here. So I'm just going to go, and the easiest way of doing it when you've got dodgy lines like that, let me show you on the back. Say I've done that. Looks far better than me trying to do that. Get me? So you actually accentuate it. So if I'm trying to do that and I just go over a bit like that, it starts to look rubbish. But if I then go like that, that now looks like a feature. So again, if I'm drawing petals and I go, you see that doesn't look nice. So what I could do is use that to go to the edge to make it look like a feature. So that is a way of getting round stuff like that. You don't, don't be sort of like discouraged by that. Don't, because like here, I've got a little mark that comes in, and when you're drawing stamps, you can't have that. You see, so I've learned that creating and making use of those lines actually makes it a lot better. Like here, I can now close the gap that's there and make it part of the flower. So there's little tricks. There's another one here that hasn't gone all the way down. I'm not very meticulous when it comes to drawing. I tend to go really fast. So I'm quite happy with that. I like that. I'm not going to put in lines in here. I'm just going to put in dots. And I'm just going to go all the way around. Really enjoying it now. Can you see all the way around? And in here, it's got some dodgy ones, to say the least. So I'm going to mix it up. Now, if I'm using an 8 to 5 or a 4 or anything like that, these little lines would be really difficult to do. Really difficult because the pen is so much fatter. So what do I mean? It's really simple. If I'm using an 8, let's go for the 8. Right, to draw that line there. So I'll draw one. And you see, so I want to put fine lines in this one. So I'll put fine lines in there. Just there, very fine. I'm going to do the same with this one. Now that's cool if you want it like that, but if you want to build on that and put other patterns in, that won't look as pretty. Well, no, not as pretty. Sorry, my finger's bleeding now. Have I done that? It doesn't look as neat and tidy. It looks harder to control. So you leave your black pen for outlines or your bigger nibs for outlines. So we can use our outline pen really effectively with the fine line pen, and we can get the two married together. So I could do a really fine line where I'm following the pencil to start, and then when I'm really happy with what I want to do, I go in with my larger one and sort of cement the shape. So I could do that here and just create, but this time taking time, going right to the top and the bottom of them, stopping where I need to stop, starting where I need to start. Can you see there's a gap? So I'm just going to bring the gap out. Now you see that's actually confirming the shape, the size, everything in comparison to the others. So I now know. And if I've got a bit of a dodgy line showing, let me just show you here. Okay, I'm going to do it there. If I see just there, you might not be able to see it. It's a bit of a two-way line there. Don't worry, use it to your advantage by putting some lines in, and then it really looks like you've really thought about it. You see here I've got a line coming over, so watch. So I'm just going to go on the inside of the line, pull it down. I've still got one there, so what I'm going to do is just go, and I've now covered that completely. Nobody knows it was there apart from us. If I want to just accentuate the middle line, I've now accentuated the middle line. So let's do another one. So are we happy with this? Yeah. I'm going to create some interest on this flower. So I'm going to go up. This is when I'm going to go. Keep to the sides, but I'm just going to go a little bit different with the top. And what I'm creating those fine lines, and here when they're a little bit big, don't worry about being too big. Just really, because you won't see it as much there as you would down there. And the difference in the petal sizes, it's because it's nearer to you. So it actually works really quite well for us. There we go. So in this in this sort of shape now, we've drawn to the lines there. We've got any lines that are overlapping, and this time it's up to you how you do it. I'm going to keep the lines really simple. They're going, if you turn your petal and draw the lines that turn to your petal, it now looks much more cohesive, more controlled, and much neater, and much more part of the design, rather than you've just gone over a little bit and sort of mucking it up. And I think once you've got the confidence to realise that if you're a bit skew with your line, don't worry. Honestly, don't worry. Because if I screwed up some of these lines, I could put another one on it, especially down here at the front, because I would see more. You know, if I wanted to put another one there, I could. Excuse me. Another one there, or another one here. I could do, because I would see more. Let's lift it up, can you see? So you create this sort of a turn back on the flower, which I think is really cool. It's nice like that. I'm happy with that. I quite like the outside of this one. So I'm just going to carefully reinforce the outer line on that one. There we go. Okay, I really like that one. This one, I'm not too sure whether I want to do any on this one, but my thought would be to try and accentuate the edges of the petal. Now this is where you have to learn how to do this. It's called a flick. So you press and flick, press and flick. Can you see how it tailors out? So put perpendicular, flick, flick, flick. It's quite controlled like that. Put it on the side. You see I'm getting more of a fade off or a blend. So it's easier for me to sort of go flick, flick. 2 halves. Can you see how it's just so? Something that you never taught in school, something that you never taught, weight a pencil. It's really ridiculous how we're expected to just know how to do it. This is one that it really does help to practice. And it's really hard to do it successfully if you're not doing it in 2 halves. Because what you're having to do initially is start off with nothing, go heavier, heavier, heavier to nothing. And with a pen, unless you practice with a pen, and even when you practice with a pen, that's difficult. So start at 12 o'clock, say, down and flick, down and flick. Don't worry about these because the patterns are going to cover them. Down and flick, down and flick, 12 o'clock, flick off, 12, flick off. And you really just, can you see how it's bringing the edges a lot darker? I've only done, well, hopefully you can see I've started there and I've got to do these here. But just that motion of 12, you're sort of reinforcing the main shape, but not bringing it that close that it looks confusing here, because too many black lines and thick lines there do make a real, so they don't look great. So here, there we go. Now I'm happy with that, I don't think I need a thicker line there. I'm really happy with that actually. So what we could do is leave this all nice and tidy there, but really tighten this up down here. I quite like the idea of it contained. You don't have to, you could just put big stems in here with writing, which looks really nice, but I could make this grass into writing, which I'm hoping to do. It's dead easy to do. So here, I might take it down a little bit more, I'm not too worried. And I'm just going to go, the shape I'm going to do today is this. So do that, that, let it cross over. Okay, like that. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'm just going to do fine ones. Right, did notice that I caught quite a few of them, but don't worry, because when you're doing this, you can do that if you want, but I think your line's a lot stronger and neater if you just use it as a line rather than trying to sort of force a line out. You're just allowing it to cross where it wants. To me, it's quite powerful, but you've got to remember that you've got to stop here. So my advice is a little bit of tape, a little bit of paper, just go to that. Right, now if that's a bit confusing, there's another thing you can do, and that is just basically like that, and then write. And I quite like it like this, where I just write on the lines and then draw the lines away, rub the lines away. So we'll leave that like that. The other thing we can do to create another focal point or framework is just look at where we want the lines, put this back, not over, let the petals go over the lines of your creation, your artwork. Just extend it to where you need to. Look at the bottom. It's always better to have weight at the bottom and not at the top, because it's disproportionate. Plus you're nearer the bottom. So right, here we go. Here's one. This isn't the best one. Look, can you see how it starts? it starts there and we're there. See, it starts there and we've got all this space. That's where there's a time for error. That's why it's good, this one, for the non-stick, but see how that one's miles better? You just start right at the beginning. That is not, so you can push it right in or whatever, whereas that, you've got all this error for, you know, this movement for judgment, area for, let me get it right, area for confusion. Right, so here I'm going to just lift it, see where I like it. Do I like that? Just try it, put a little, sometimes measuring is wrong because you want to just see what it looks like without trying to measure it. So here I've got there at 5.5, here I've got at 4. I'm happy with that. So I do need to keep an eye on how straight things are, but that doesn't worry me at all, because those wiggly lines we've used around here can be used inside our work as well. So I'm really enjoying this at the moment, really enjoying this. So I'm trying to bring in flowers. I know they're not wonderfully ornate flowers like we're normally used to, but I want to bring both in. I want to bring in the flowers that we've drawn already using these little keynotes, and then some moodles as well. So I'm going to look at some petals that I think are will really benefit, and I'm going to look at 2 patterns for this, 2 or 3 patterns. I'm going to start here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 16. So I can have 4, anything that's divisible by 4 into 16, 2s, 4s, anything like that. So we could have a pattern of 4 in repetition and it'll be perfect. Pattern of 2, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. You see, we're going to have an odd one out. It doesn't matter, but you choose the pattern. So the first pattern I'm going to choose, which is really simple, is I am going to choose a brick pattern. This is 1. I'm using a 1. Okay, so looks like a bumblebee back. So here I'm going to do like that. Okay, the next one, 1 square. The next one, 2 squares. Next one, 1 square. And it fits totally into that shape. Do you get me? Okay, so now let's choose another shape, which is, we want it to be sort of ornate, and then the next one to be quite plain. So what we're going to do is just do 2 lines and a line each side. Okay, so let's choose another pattern, and here we can go for something more ornate. So let's look at, we've got the square, so we could do for a round one now. So let's swap that out for a round one. So this one, it's where we're working in between. Get me? So let's have another one. A simple one. So we'll take this line. So it's a simple line again. So let's look at the 4 we've got. We've got like a brick structure. Yeah, and you could there, it looks a bit odd. You could, if you wanted to, do that as well. Okay, then we've got a straight up and line, we've got the circles, then we've got this. So let's start again, and it doesn't matter about the shape, how many bricks you put in, it's entirely up to you. Just keep the equidistant there. So let's say, let's start there. This is where I'm going to get into my own little zone now, because this is where I can just moodle. And if it gets really tiny, just put what we call like a representation of it. So the next one is really easy to do. If you notice, my pen is thin enough that I could put 3 lines there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Next one is simple. And when you're doing one side, think about you're going to put a circle in that side there. Okay, then the next one is 1, 2, 3. Let's do our little triangle there. Up here, 1, 2, 3. So we start with our squares. The next one, line. The next one is our lumps. Okay, then the next one is our zigzags. So simple. We're just using line and circle. Let's turn it round here. So now we've got that. So we start with the main one again, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so after this one came our long and thin one. Okay, next one, bubbles, lumps. Okay, so we start there. And then the last one is our zigzag one. And we've got really, to me, a hugely successful Moodle flower. Hugely successful. We've got the flower shape that we're used to. We've got the moodling in it. So next one we're going to pick this, and we can do quite an ornate pattern with this one, where we're doing repetition or we're doing sort of theme, a variation on a theme. So again, let's check the petals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've got 8. So anything that's divisible by 8. So it's either 2 sets of 4 or 4 sets of 2. So it's entirely up to you. But I quite like the idea of 2s. Okay, so I'm just going to do 1. And what I'm doing is the circle shape. Seeing, do I need more? So here, what I need to do is bring that one in there, that one in there, another one on that one, and another one on that one. And what I'm doing is seeing, I didn't have the right shape at the beginning. I had it sort of small and then I got really big or large. So you can, add to it. So here I'm going to add another one because I quite like this shape. And even if you think, oh no, I'm not going to get them all on one, I'm going to be full up, it doesn't matter because you've got different size petals. So here, just a small one there, tiny one there, don't need one really there, and another extra one there. So we've got this nice sort of pattern forming. And it's up to you what you do on the insides if you want to do another one. I'm going to do the next one, which is sort of the opposite way. So it's the same pattern, but the opposite way. So this time, it's more like a fingernail. So it's the same pattern. You're conscious of creating the same image, but it's got sort of free fall with how many you do and what you do. Can you see how it's quite funky and it's quite nice that. So the way I'm going to bring it all together is I'm just going to draw on the very first shape of all of them. I'm going to draw circles. That way it ties it all together regardless of size. There's a commonality between them. Yeah, you get there. You can see that there's a pattern and it relies greatly on repetition and size. The size of it really matters because although it's a different size, you know that all works together. Okay, and then next one, let's think, right, okay, we don't need the same pattern, but let's keep it into sort of the same sort of style. So here we've got a split in some of them that I want to keep, so we'll keep that and ignore that, and then the next one we're going to just put now the ones that we did the opposite way don't have that split, so it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how many. I know I always say evens are out and odds are in, but really that's your choice. I'm not going to sort of go on about that. So we've got another one there. And as you're going round, if you're like me and you're finding that you've left little lines that don't look good, then this is your chance to sort of put the lines together so they fit. Right, okay, so we've got really quite a nice one that we can adapt even more. So we can build on that if we wish. We've got plenty of lines to do it. But let's move on to something that's going to be quite nice. I like the squareness of this, so we've got squares in here. But let's sort of take it one step further and just go. So we're actually starting it the same way, coming in and down. Size, I am seriously not worried about it. Never have been. The bigger the petal, the bigger the inside. But again, I don't care. This one looks like it needs a bit of help. But I really don't care. Now, the way I can compensate for this is by putting a pattern in this here. So we can look for a pattern that we've got or change it slightly. I quite like the idea of just they're like strings attaching it. 1, 2, 3. They don't have to match in a line like that. Nowhere. It's just putting your 3 little lines in, and it creates like a pattern paper underneath. You can even go all the way down the side if you wish. There we go. So we've got that nice pattern there. We can put something in here, which I quite like the idea of. Little shape like this. Put your I'm putting 5 in each. And coming back to my starting point and then putting the lines in. And then I'm not preoccupied about long and short and tall. What I do need to do is start them at the bottom. Make sure that my lines go all the way. And that means me taking time, because I'm a sod for that. I don't do it. So there. So I'll bring the lines down. I think it's easier to bring the lines down from the flower rather than go up to the flower, but that's my personal taste. It could be very different from you. Now this feels like it's been a really successful time for me because I'm using skills that we've already had, learnt, taught, got, and then building on them. I really like that, really like that. So yeah, I'm quite liking the idea of doing something in the background. Tiny dots. Tiny dots, don't need anything else. Nothing else. So what I am going to do is so I've crossed over here That looks a bit dodgy, but I'll sort that out, don't worry. Cross there, cross there, put a line on there. So I've crossed over at all of them. So I've got a bit of leeway here. So this one doesn't look very good. So what I'm going to do is just cross it over to bring it back. So I'm sort of like, can you see now? It looks cool. So here, not a lot. Don't want a lot of this on here. Just, it's almost just now and again. And again there, and this looks a bit dodgy up here, so if I bring that one up and over, I'm accentuating it and making it look right. And then all I'm going to do is just every so often put a line. Don't worry if you can't fit in a circle, doesn't matter. Then that little square that you've done with the crossover really works. And then you can put in a couple more down here to give it more weight. Okay. Like that. So I've got the main image, the main impact. I've not done my, and I'm going to go into do these with some like really fine words, or you don't have to, or you could do them with your nice okay, I'm going to go for it. Using the flick technique again as I come to the top. Then that way, if you do catch your petals, it won't be that much of a hardship. Here you don't need to flick, and just put lines in, because you won't see them. And then, best bit of all, I love this. Can you see I've gone to another line there? So that's my chance to either put the line back in or change it. So let's see what I've done. Can you see it? Let me show you. I went to the other line. So I'm going to put another line in here, like, and I'm going to join each line that I've done. I love that better. I really like that. Can you see how it's made it like the earth? So I'm just going to put in here, right, from little acorns grow from little. So you see I've got like writing in there, but it just looks like a scribble. And then in here you can put like either a design. So if we go for a design, do one that's similar to the patterns you've already got in here. Change your lettering. So you've got a different, different sort of outlook on it. Oh, can you see something? So I'm just writing little words in. To give these sort of polka here, it might be better if I just do lines, because the words, although I don't care whether they're visible or not, they've got like a little bit more pattern. Looks better there. So we've got a really simple, what time is it? Yes, an hour. That's really good. We've done really well for an hour. So yeah, I want to do some colour on this, so I'm going to do simple colouring, because I'll be honest with you, everything's in my car still, because I haven't got my car. So I'm just going to pick some colours up. I won't be a minute. Where's my bigger one gone? Oh, I don't know. There's somewhere. Oh dear. Well, I'll just use this one. Got some coloured pencils. I'm just going to use coloured pencils because I haven't got my paintbrushes. I'm not going to mess about with you. So I don't want to sort of crazy day. Got my pencils. Going to look at this. Going to put a light. I'm going to go for a light aqua in the background because I don't often use this. So just going to lay some colour down around the edge. Not the flower. Just the edge of this. Now, I'm pressing down quite hard on this, so I'm giving the viewer or whoever's looking at it, or you, the idea that that is the outer frame. And then I'm just going to very lightly go, so lightly that you can't see my pencil directions, very light. Now if you wanted to take this a little bit further, what you could do is go in with dark lines around your flowers, but I just want to enjoy this. I don't want it to get too technical. I just want to do some colouring in. So, and one of my demos on the TV, you saw that I did a little frame, and the frame is just so handy. You could do it with all your colours, all your papers that you've got, anything. Now here I've missed a bit, so I'm just going to go back in and then just add a little bit of light colour there. There we go. And as you go around, you'll find that you're missing a bit of colour here, there and everywhere, but hey, don't matter. And then very lightly around here, because we're just trying to fill in any space. There's a bit of space showing. Have a look round. And then very lightly. And we're using it to the side. Use your pencil to the side, not to draw. And you sort of half shading. And remember that when you're going over your colours, if there's any pencil lines you want to get rid of, do it before you do this, because if not, you'll rub these lines out as well. Now I'll show you some little tricks when we get down to the bottom, just to create a bit of depth, and that is just to give it on one side, not as dark, a little bit of depth. Now your pencils should be sharper than mine, the definition, because otherwise you're going to get a big fat line, and you don't really want that. So you can see I've given it a little bit of definition down there, but not a lot. If you wanted to, you could even sort of do it there in between, but not right round the petals. Can you see? And all I'm doing is just going dark and then light, so it's not coming out toward the end of the petals, it's just staying within the actual shape of the flower, and it's giving more definition to the actual shape and where the background goes and doesn't go, if you know what I mean. So we missed a bit here, look, and there. So I'm happy with that. I'll do a bit round here as well, just to give it, I'm not doing a lot, you can see I'm only just flicking it in the corners there, because I don't think it needs it. and then you can do a bit there if you want, but I'd be more concentrating on these areas here. So it's a bit here I've missed. Don't matter how many times you go over it, now you know you're gonna miss it. So I've got that like aqua greeny colour, which I really like, because that's a colour that I'm not going to use in the foreground. I've got some patterning I need to do here, which I forgot. And this is, I think, when I'm doing something like this, I really like to